Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you realize this, but I'm here today. And by the way, Merry Christmas. And to those of you that get offended by Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays and all that stuff. But I'm glad that you're here today. We appreciate you being here. But I want to let you know that sometimes it is not easy to be me. It's really not. It's just not easy to be me. And this is one of those times where it's not easy to be me. And this is one of those times that really shows us exactly what we are dealing with, exactly what the powers that be but are passing away are doing to us, doing through us, what they're trying to subject us to. And it's almost funny. But I have a couple of Christmas presents for you today. And one of them is a new sponsor. And I want to talk about that new sponsor. And the fact that I have this new sponsor is going to give my critics and my detractors some leverage that they can use because they don't really care about truth. They just care about tearing down someone that's doing something that is not enslaving people. It's going to give them some difficulty, and it's going to cause some of you to probably not like me anymore, and that's okay. But and it's going to maybe take away a little bit from the message that we're trying to get across, which is very important. But the fact that this sponsor does what it does is another one of our big messages, and we're about to start heading into that message more and more. One of the things that they have, hello, Mauston, Merry Christmas. One of the things that they've done, ladies and gentlemen, they being the powers that be and are passing away, they have weaponized sexuality against us. They have made us ashamed of sexuality. They've convinced us that sexuality is dirty. And yes, we're going to talk about did Jesus and Paul say Caesar is God, but we're taking care of this Christmas present first. They've managed to get us convinced that sexuality is bad, sexuality is dirty, sexuality is wrong. They have us shying away from it, not wanting to discuss it, not want to talk about it. And like Tracy has just said, they know its power. And I know its power, and it's something that we need to begin to investigate. It's something we need to begin to talk about more, and we will in this new year, which really isn't a new year. It's just a false paradigm that's been set up. But we'll play their game. It makes a nice little point for if you've been wanting to do something, you've been wanting to make changes. It gives you a nice little time to make a change. It gives you a nice little artificial motivator to make a change. And the problem, and Second Star to the Right is right, we should have more sex. But the problem is we think sex is dirty. And because of the onslaught that we're facing, ladies and gentlemen, I say we're the last generation of real humans. And I always get, why do you say that? Why do you say that? Well, I think if you listened more, you would understand why I say it. But this is one of the reasons why I say it, because we're facing an onslaught, ladies and gentlemen. We're facing a chemical onslaught that is designed to lower male potency, that's designed to lower and stop our procreative and recreative abilities. We're facing a situation where men are not men anymore. And because men aren't men anymore, women can't be women anymore. We've lost the alpha male. We've lost the alpha male, and we've lost the alpha female, and we've lost the totality of who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be. And part of that is because men cannot function at a high level anymore sexually like they should be able to naturally. But the chemtrails are killing us. The food that we continue to eat and put in our bodies are killing us. The medicines that we take are killing us, and they're killing our potency. And they want to kill our potency. They want to keep people like us from reproducing and making more cousins for the battle. So I am becoming aligned with a company that is specialized in helping you. It basically helps men's potency. And by helping men's potency, that'll give men back the confidence they need, give them back the leadership they need, and it will allow women to get what they need, and it will allow us to move out of this paradigm of sexual dystopia and move into a place of sexual utopia where we can have normal, healthy sexual uh, relations, and we can begin to manifest the power of those relationships and have a powerful energy exchange, as Tracy Dyer has said. And I'm doing this knowing full well that I'm going to take some crap, but that's okay. And I'm going to take you to our website, and I want to show you this new sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to watch this and behold, because it's going to be really, really cool. Of course, this is not my website, but if you go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com, this is what you'll see. Your friendly plastic Jesus looking back at you. If you want Mistech, you can go right up here from Mistech. If you want Fluffy, you can go right up here to Fluffy, or you can come down to the life-changing partners. There's Mistech again. There's Focus Life Force Energy. There's our C60 Purple Power partners. There's our Hero Soap Company powers. And what are these guys? These guys are the Rocket, our new sponsor. It's called the Rocket, and this is sort of an adult program. And we've been set to know kids anyway. But here's the thing, and first thing I want you to know is this says there's no time left on this special rollout blast off deal, if you will. But if you click right here, it still lets you do it. So we're going to ask forgiveness instead of permission, because this deal, we're still going to slide you in, pardon the pun, today. I don't know how long it'll last, but basically what the Rocket does, it's a device that is used on the male penis. And what it does is it breaks up the microplaque that's in your penis, no matter how in shape you are, no matter how much sex you have, no matter how virile, vigorous, and potent you think you are. I'm 56. I don't know how old you are, but you've got microplaque building up over the years in your penis, ladies and gentlemen, and nobody needs microplaque in their penis. And what this device does is it breaks that microplaque down. You can see the plaque kind of right there. It breaks that microplaque down. And when it breaks that microplaque down and makes it go away, obviously more blood can get into your penis. And what does that mean? That means more fun for the entire family. Yes, there's an increase in penis size, but we don't really care about that. It's like this. And, here's a funny picture. It's like remember the Mistech thing we showed you? Mistech helps with this too. But it increases blood flow. It makes a man confident. It makes a man happy. And it makes a woman happy too, ladies and gentlemen. But you're talking about where we are now. This is why we got impotence. This is why we got lack of performance. And the Rocket gets you to here, and you can see the tremendous difference. This has been field tested by our own Jay Campbell. And how much is the Rocket? Well, and I won't do this every day, I promise. This is just a kickoff. You can go, this type of technology is only available at a clinic currently. So if you go to a clinic, you usually get 24 treatments. That's the protocol, and they cost about $500 each. So you can see the Rocket gives you the same exact thing as the $50,000 machines. And I think the Rocket looks better. This one looks a little intimidating to me, but anyway. So you're talking about $12,000 worth of value. Here's the dude that is part of this. The Rocket is going to be just short of 1500. Right now, as long as this lasts, you can get it for 400. So it's up to you. And this is what it looks like. And why am I doing this? Plus, you get some bonuses and stuff like that. The main reason I'm doing this, ladies and gentlemen, is so we can combat male impotency. We can get men confident again, which is going to correct the male-female relationship, which is going to recorrect our sexuality and allow us to launch ourselves into some powerful divine manifestation using our most divine creative act that we have here in this human body. That's why I'm doing it. I believe it. I know I'm going to be subject to ridicule. That's okay. I know there's people preparing videos against me right now. That's okay, because I don't care about the naysayers. I care about the A players. And you guys are the A players. And we are here to get something done. And it's not just to grow a YouTube channel, though we're going to grow one huge, and it's getting bigger every day. We're going to put the rocket on our YouTube channel. It's going to grow bigger than ever. Pumping new blood into the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean, so you've got that link. It's on jeffreydaugherty.com on the rocket. Jay said that it was only through today. I don't know how long that link will last, but at any price, the prices they're talking about full retail, it's still a great value. But ladies and gentlemen, it's because we need to change the world, and our sexual energy is going to be our secret weapon to change the world. And this gets us back to where we need to be in that regard. So if you hate me, okay, you hate me, but I'm going to go out swinging with everything I got and bringing you everything that I can, ladies and gentlemen, to get us to where we need to be. So let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Did Jesus and did Paul say that Satan, the rocket doesn't ship until January? So no, I didn't use it today, Boru. It doesn't ship until January. And there's all of the questions that you want to ask me are on that site. But yeah, it is electrostimulation. There is a little discomfort initially, I'm told. That's why they give you a desensitizing cream until you get used to it. And you're only doing this once, maybe twice a month for 90 days. And then supposedly you're good to go, gentlemen. And then ladies, you will be good to go. Drawer Samuel says that he has a Jesus penis joke. Will I allow him to say it? Sure. Go for the Jesus penis joke. But we're going to talk about, did Jesus say that Caesar is God? Did Paul say that Caesar is God? Jay did the test runs. I'm trusting Jay, Scotty boy. Jay Campbell's the foremost expert, I think, nationally, at least, probably internationally, in physical optimization, and the expert in helping combine that with and to relate to and create spiritual optimization. I'm taking Jay's word for it on this one, but we'll give you some live field reports. No, we're not going to do the rocket application live. I wouldn't do that to you because I just wouldn't do that. But anyway, here we go. Did Jesus and Paul say that Caesar is God? Yes, they did. And this is my Christmas gift to you. Oh my. This is my Christmas gift to you, ladies and gentlemen. My Christmas gift to you, Christians. My Christmas gift to you, Christians. I'm 56. And no, I don't need the rocket, but I got some cousins that do. So that's why we're bringing the rocket aboard. And I'm proud to say I'm a rocket man. And I hope that you will be a rocket man too. We should make a song about that. Let's go to a scripture that I want to show you. And I want to talk to you about it. And I want to show you that Jesus did say, in fact, that Caesar was God. And it's a crazy thing. And it's one of those things where we know the Romans now, and we're learning even more. We know the Romans did write the New Testament. We know the Romans did write the New Testament. And yet we're seeing that even though they wrote it, they still have that weird natural law thing where they've got to tell us that they're screwing us. They've got to tell us that it's a fix, even though they're trying to fool us and did for so many years. So let's look at a particular verse, and I'm going to show you that Jesus said that Caesar was God, and then we're going to show you that Paul said that Caesar was God. And this is the verse we're talking about. Mark, you can see we're in the book of Mark. Nothing up my sleeve. This is BibleHub.com. I don't get paid to use it. And I hope that they never discover I am, because I don't think they meant for their service to be used in quite this way, and I'm afraid they would shut a brother down. But anyway, on we go. And Jesus answering said, and we had a little mini revelation on this last night, but I thought it deserved a full rendering. Pardon the pun, but And Jesus said unto them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they marveled at him. Looking at this verse more deeply and breaking it down in the original Greek, which the New Testament was written in, which again is a marvelous thing when you think about it. Jewish guys, we're told, reforming the Jewish religion, writing a Jewish religious document. Of course, they would write it in Greek, right? No, they wouldn't write it in Greek. They'd write it in Hebrew, but they didn't write it in Greek or they didn't write it in Hebrew because they didn't write it. The Romans wrote it, and the Roman language in Judea for commerce was Greek. That's why they used it, because the Romans wrote it. And then Jesus said this, and we're going to break it down word by word. Give up, give back, return, restore. Give up, give back, return, restore. Give unto Caesar. We know who Caesar is. Caesar was the Roman emperor. At the time this was written, the Roman emperor, look at this, they got it right. The Roman emperor, actually it was Titus. See, they've got it wrong, and that doesn't surprise me. At the time this was written, because remember it was backdated, at the time this was written, Titus was emperor. And we've always been taught to treat this as Christians and as people that are poisoned by the Judeo-Christian fear and guilt, blood, magic, control matrix, that he's saying two things. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and then give unto God's what is God's. That Caesar's one thing and God is another. But if we look at the construction of the text, and especially looking at it in context, we'll see that that is not the case whatsoever. Jesus is saying that Caesar is God. So you give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. And what's he talking about God there? He's talking about a God, not necessarily the God, but a God, a divine person, a God, a creator and owner, a God. So as we look at this actually in the interlinear itself, which breaks it down word for word Greek next to word for word English, the thing we've got to look at is you got to notice little things like this word and. What does this word and mean? This word and means, it can mean and, but it can also mean even. It can also mean namely. It can also mean indeed. And do you notice this right here? The context determines the exact sense. The context determines the exact sense. And it is never adversative. It never means however. It never means but. Do you see what I'm showing you? Because we've been told to read this verse as give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, but give to God the things that are God. And we've just been told that it never is used in that sense. It's never used in that sense. We just saw that. That to me is amazing. It is never used in the sense that we're always told that it's used. It's never used as however. It never means however. It never means but. It's never adversative. But we've been taught for 2,000 years that it is adversative. Give the things of Caesar to Caesar, but no, that's not what it says. That's what we've been taught. Give the things back to Caesar that are Caesar's, even the things of God to God. What he's literally saying in the Greek, as we break it down, remember this is a God. What we're literally seeing here in the Greek is give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, as unto a God. Give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, even the things of a God to a God. Jesus, and you notice it wasn't some guy off the side of the road. It wasn't even one of the other supposed apostles. It was the Jesus character. The Jesus character said, hey, give the things to Caesar that are Caesar's. You're just giving back to God the things that are God's. He's calling Caesar a God. He is a God, so give him God's things. It's like verily, verily. It's a double imperative. Give the things that are Caesar to Caesar. Give the things that are God to God. Because remember, this never means but. This never means but. So that means that this context says it means even. Remember, look back here. It never means but. It never means however. So it must mean even. It must mean namely. It must mean indeed. Give the things that are Caesar's unto Caesar. Indeed, the things of a God to a God. Give the things that are Caesar unto Caesar, even the things of a God to a God. Jesus said Caesar was a God, period. That's what the text says. So even though the Romans have used this language to lie to us and cheat from us and steal from us for 2,000 years, they told us 2,000 years ago when Jesus himself, the Jesus character they created to trick us, they still insisted, according to natural law, that he tell us the truth. And he told you, Jesus did, that Caesar is a God. He told you that Caesar is a God. The Jesus character told you that Caesar is a God. I'm telling you that Caesar is a God. Merry Christmas, my Christian friends, but you still won't believe me. Have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Yes, I have. The context demands it, but look at this other. Let's look at this. More context. By comparing scripture with scripture. That's what you want to do, right? Well, Jesus, he did, and then Paul came and he did. So, we really want to believe in Paul. Yeah, you do. And guess what? Let every soul be subject to the higher powers. When this was written, who were the higher powers? Here's a hint. The name of the book is Romans. Here's a hint. The name of the book is Romans. Do you see that? It says Romans. And then it says, let every soul be subject to the higher powers. And in case you're wondering who that is, look up Romans. Romans, higher powers, Romans. Paul says the higher powers are the Romans. For there is no power but of God. And if the higher powers are of God and the higher powers are Romans, guess who's God? Rome. Who is leading Rome when this was written? Titus, just like Jesus said. I'm getting excited and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, but I think I like it. The higher powers. There's no power but of God. Rome was in power. So Rome was God. And the powers that be are ordained of God. The Roman gods were set in place by Paul's God. And if you resist the power, you're resisting God. Who was in power? Rome was in power. And if you resist their power, you're resisting God. Why? Because Rome was God. Titus was God, just like Jesus said. Titus is the minister of God. Titus is there to revenge and execute wrath upon those that do evil. You are the subjects of Titus, who is a God. And then just to think, oh, Jeff, you're pulling it out of context, really, because Paul ties it right back to what Jesus said in Mark 12. Render therefore. Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember? What was that song? Do you remember, ladies and gentlemen? 12:17. And Jesus said, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Paul says, render therefore. Render, 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 render. Render therefore to all their dues. Tribute to whom tribute, custom to whom custom, fear unto whom fear, honor unto whom honor. Paul confirmed what Jesus said, because they're both characters invented by Rome. We'll get to that. That Rome is the higher power. Rome is God. Titus was the head of Rome at that time. Titus is God. Jesus told you, and Paul told you. But wait, there's more. Because when they had here in the text, and again, they've got to tell us the truth, even though they don't want to tell us the truth, they marveled at him. Jesus said, listen, folks, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, like given to a God what is a God's, because Caesar is God. And my buddy Paul's going to come later and tell you and back me up on this, that Rome is God, Titus is God, Caesar is God. Give him the stuff and shut up. And they marveled at him. What does marvel mean? They marveled, they wondered, they were amazed, they were astonished out of their senses, they were wondering very greatly, they regarded with amazement. They were like, WTF. Just like you Christians are feeling right now. WTF. You're marveling because Jesus did say that Caesar was Paul, or Caesar was God, and Paul said that Caesar was God, and you've been lied to for 2,000 years, and you're marveling that you've fallen for it for 2,000 years. Merry Christmas. You're marveling at the fact that you've been fooled for 2,000 years. You're marveling at the audacity of me to tell you. You're marveling at the fact that you've missed it. And that's okay. But please don't let yourself marvel at me having the guts to tell you and then fight me and hate me and come against me. That doesn't really matter. But what matters is you having been shown the truth. You having been shown the truth. Don't let it be marvelous anymore. Yeah, man, I've been fooled. I've been stupid. Look at me. I'm the king of the stupids. I am the dunce of the dunces. I've for 20 years was a preacher. I have a Bible college degree. I spent 100,000 hours plus studying the Bible. I'm the chief of the dummies. I marvel sometimes at how dumb I have been. But what I really marvel at is the people that won't see it, even though it's as plain as the shrinking, ineffective penis between their legs. But I'm trying to help them with that too. They won't see it. I marvel at those that won't see it. I marvel at those that hate me. I marvel at those that will come against me. I marvel at those that will fight this when it is just shown so plainly within the text and the context of the scriptures. I'm not worried. I'm worried, but I'm not connected to the result with those people anymore. It took me a long time, Denise, to figure out. A long time, Denise, to figure out. Let's go to the chat room and see what questions the most advanced and brightest chat room on YouTube, without a doubt, has for me today. Ophelia says this is the only safe place to be today. That's funny. I can appreciate that. Let's see. Everybody's happy to see each other. Everybody's saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. It's like 60 degrees here in the Heartland too. The same temperature here in the Heartland as it is in Clearwater, Florida, which is really borderline amazing to me. Marsden Brooks is with us. Tracy says it's time to call the herd. I think some of these teachings are going to begin to do so, but you got to get rid of the old to make room for the new. And I'm all for getting out the people that can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth, and bringing in people that want to handle more and more and more of the truth. So, folks, here we go with your questions. Apollo Beach, Florida says, hello, nice to see you out there. Let's see. It's important to avoid impotence. I agree 100%. It's not only sex, folks, but the ability to be a man. I agree with you, Scotty. These things go so deep within the psyches of men, and then it does so much go into the psyches of women. Even Gosha talked about the cabal imprinting guilt in the minds of men, guilt about wanting sex, guilt about not being able to have sex, guilt about being sorry at sex, guilt about not having to be able to perform in sex like a man, which makes you not want to have it, and then does all sorts of crazy things to women. Tracy Dyer making a joke about female penises and stuff. And guess what, Tracy? The rocket people have not forgotten about you girls. Hang on. There is a product being developed for the ladies too. So we will keep you apprised on that. Kinga says legal Viagra. No, sir. That's the best thing. Do you know what Viagra does to you? Have you ever read what happens when you take Viagra, when you take Cialis? Yeah, I know you get what you want, but do you understand the cost? That's the beautiful part of this. You get the same results, only way better, and they're natural, and you don't have to put any of those horrific chemicals into your body. I don't like to see that Ophelia says that women do care about size, but hey, it's reality, right? It's reality. Microplaque, well, it's got to help your prostate. It's got to help your prostate. Let's see. Sandra says she needs a man first. No, it's not like a penis enema. It doesn't work internally. It works externally. It puts electromagnetic stimulation from the outside in. Ophelia loves the concept. So do I. So do I. I think it's great stuff. And I don't care if you don't think it's great stuff, but that's okay. Don't eat corporate food. Absolutely don't eat corporate food. Just don't bring the rocket on the first date. No, you wouldn't take your rocket on a date, Andromeda. That would be poor form. Nothing wrong with taking care of your Johnson, whatever you call it. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Now they could just come up with some kind of device to get rid of plaque in the brain. Isn't that the truth, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't that the truth? So Jay did the test runs. I love this kind of stuff too, because it's real, man. It's real. And, somebody says, I don't need the rocket, but who doesn't need a little extra, a little more? I mean, Jay was talking about it, and he says, size is one thing, and health is important. You don't want to have plaque in your veins, but he says it greatly increases the pleasure as well of human orgasm. And that's important, because if it increases the pleasure, it increases the power, it increases the intention, it increases that which can be focused towards a spiritual, magical, energetic means, ladies and gentlemen. You see where I'm going with this? You can't do no good sexual magic intention if your wand is busted. You got to have a strong wand, ladies and gentlemen. And we're all about getting those wands into tip-top condition, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have these folks treating their junk like it owes them money. Thank you. You are up there on Atwell's level. Well, this is Atwell stuff. I'm just kind of bringing the news and adding a little bit to it. And Truth Frequency News says, slap my head, the obvious truth. It's not written in Hebrew because the Romans wrote it. Absolutely. It's when you see it, it's like, man. Runaway Train, great quote. And he's talking with Marsden. This is so good. See, even society, we're trained to call it your junk. Why would you call it your junk? It's much more like jewels. Sexuality is the most divine-like power we have in this flesh body. And yeah, it's going to make some of you uncomfortable where we go in the next year, but that's okay because we're taking it to another whole level, ladies and gentlemen. The joke was a little much, Samuel, but that's okay. That's okay. This will tick off all the Jesus believers. That's okay. That's okay. Samuel, you don't know how close to truth you are on that. Wow, says Matrix. Incredible. Yes, absolutely. It gnaws at him that they got away with it for 2,000 years. It infuriates him. Me too. Absolutely. There's a chapter in Paul's epistles titled to Titus, but there's more to it, Samuel. That epistle, Titus, was written right before Paul left Rome, as the story goes, in AD 66. Don't you realize that Jerusalem was destroyed in AD 70? Paul figured out that it was coming. He writes Titus and says, I'm coming home in the story. They show us these obvious things. Paul writes to Titus in 66 or 68, disappears, heading back to Rome, and then all of a sudden Jerusalem's destroyed. We have been so enslaved in the matrix mindset that we can't see plain things written in front of us. It's AD 68-ish. Paul writes to Titus and disappears home to Rome, and then Jerusalem burns. Why can't we make that connection? Because we don't want to make that connection. Jesus says, the Jesus character says, Caesar is God. Why don't we make that connection? Only because we don't want to make that connection, and only because there's people that want to keep you from making that connection so they can still make connections with your wallet and with your energetic essence so they can vampirize it. I'm going to say that again. The reason why people don't want you to make that connection is because they want you to keep your connection to them so they can continue to connect with your wallet and connect with your energetic essence and feed and vampirize off it. You will never hear me ask you to pray for me. Because when you pray for me, you establish a psychic, energetic connection. And guess what? I can backwire it and suck you dry, and not in a good way. That's why they want you to pray for them. Next time one of these charlatans says, please pray for me, they're asking you to open up your spiritual, energetic reservoirs and let them Dracula it out of you. Be careful. Be careful. They're always mixing truth with lies throughout history. Absolutely. Paul has it. Yep. Paul writing to Titus. We just covered that. Let's see. Anyone up for a game of Titus says, I'm listening. This is an incredible discovery. It really is. Thank you so much. Minister Elderon says it makes sense. Thank you. I agree. It does. I'm marveling at the point for falling for the hook, line, and sinker. And there was no J, but the J looks like a fish hook to me. Very interesting. How about that? How about that? Now we're going to have these Christians throwing rockets at me. That's okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it, ladies and gentlemen. And let me see what I've got here. Ophelia, thank you so much for that super chat. I lost my place in the chat. It jumps on me for some reason. Jeff's tireless passion. He seems to repeat some things sometimes. I do repeat things because repetition is the mother of learning. That's why I repeat it. Hey, Jeff, was that your best place of learning? Probably. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jeff will love sometimes takes people longer than others. Yep. That's true. That's true. Can't reach the third stage of enlightenment if you're not celibate. Bullshit, but that's okay. You can believe that if you want to, Zev Thezio. I understand that's your belief, but that ain't my belief. That's a belief that's meant to limit humans. Our greatest divine attribute in these bodies is our sexual manifestation, and I would be willing and glad to debate that with you. You're perfectly willing to believe it, but I say no way. They're trying to limit you and keep you under control, Zev, but that is my opinion. All right. And Tracy says, that sounds like an infiltration in New Age. I agree 100%. New Age, this was taught over 2,000 years ago. Yeah, and you're still falling for it, Zev. Wake up, brother. Wake up, sister. Whoever and whatever you are, if you're brother, sister, or anywhere in between. Let's see, have we forgotten the feeling of what it is to want sex? Well, we felt bad about it, and we shouldn't. We should not. And you can make a point, but you can't beat the point over and over and over, please. I have a question about Mistech. This is not the place or the time to ask me questions about Mistech. I have an email, and Mistech has a frequently asked questions and a contact at mistech.net. Let's see what else we got. From Jesus to your junk. And I'm not going to talk about junk anymore. To my jewels, to our jewels. Humble man, says D. Patrick Hayes, confused by religion and governments and all that has been passed off as truth for love in this life. Depression has also been a part of my life for well over 40 years. Well, maybe when you realize, D. Patrick, that you're not filled with original sin, you got the spark of divinity within, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free, you've been lied to it, now you know it, that should help with your mental health. It really should. And I'll just mention it, C60 Purple Power. You can go to c60purplepower.com or jeffreydaugherty.com and click on the C60 Purple Hour logo. I've been doing this for a couple months, maybe 6 weeks, turning my hair dark again. I read without glasses. I don't need the rocket, hint, hint, wink, wink, but we're going to use it anyway. And it lifts your mood incredibly. This is the best antioxidant supplement on the planet. And it also raises your vibration. If you do spiritual work, it makes you better at it because it clears out the metals and crap that are in you, and it puts you back at a high frequency. You use that with the Mistech bracelets, which put you at the Schumann resonance and keep you in harmony and not chaos. And if you really want to throw the everything at it, use the fluffy, the focused life force energy will put you in a more nurturing environment. And while you're growing all this time, you don't want to stink, so use the hero soap too. Wow. And you know that you want to have a good wash after you use the rocket. So boom, it all goes hand in hand, ladies and gentlemen. It all goes hand in hand. Let's see. Don't and Mazden. I love Mazden. What? No comeback? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Jesus said that government is God. Yep, twisted is being. So did Paul. They're on the same page about that. There is a lot of cognitive dissonance. May thinks that George Washington was the reincarnation of Caesar and Zeus. That's interesting. That is interesting. Shoot, it just jumped on me again. Where'd it go? There we are. These archons need you like God and the J-Man need you, and they become vampires. Absolutely. No racism allowed here. Never pray for anyone, especially yourself. I agree with that. Reprogram the subconsciousness. I agree with that 100%. You can be enlightened, but still not at the third stage. I told you not to beat that horse anymore. Now you get time out. Everyone needs something to believe in. Rewriting history. No, we're not rewriting history, Karen. I know how you mean it. We're actually unmasking history and allowing us to see what's normal and what is real, what actually really happened. Let's see. They call themselves Roman Catholic, but they don't believe Rome invented Jesus. Well, the ones that aren't calling themselves Roman Catholics, they're just Roman Protestants anyway, raw 10. I need some peppermint soap. Well, click on the American flag logo at jeffreydaugherty.com under my sponsors and get the best peppermint soap you've ever had from my friends at Hero Soap, led Freedom Clean. I'm looking for passion and reason in my life. You'll find it. Just keep looking for it. And instead of asking yourself, not that you do this, but you might, why don't I have any passion in my life? Why don't I have any reason in my life? Why am I always depressed? Change that a little bit. Say, how do I bring passion into my life? How do I find the reason for my life? How do I find joy and peace and move into happiness in my life? The quality of your life is determined by the questions that you Regularly ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, according to Nunya 9, today is the rapture. So it's been nice knowing you, folks. It's been nice knowing you. Jim says, thank you. It's my pleasure to help you unindoctrinate yourself. We are seeing history finally for what it is. Yes, we are. Scotty says that his jewels have never smelled better. And I can agree if you're using the Hero soap, although I will never test that in the field. I just want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Armstrong uses a C60 and the Mistec says they're phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you being here today. I hope you have a happy Christmas, a Merry Christmas, a happy Kwanzaa, all of that silly stuff. And it's so funny. If Nine Nunya does another show, I hope she explains why she got left behind for the rapture that she predicted that didn't happen. And yet, they still keep listening. They still keep subscribing. And they still keep trying to have, what's that called when sisters and brothers have sex? Incest amongst themselves to create more of these slave subscribers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Christmas. I hope you have a good one. Be good to yourselves. Be good to your family. Take some time off. Relax a little bit. It's nice to see all of you here. Do have a peaceful day. And remember, on your way out, give us a thumbs up. If you liked it, give us a thumbs down. If you hated it, subscribe. Make sure that you are still subscribed. And if you tap the bell, they'll always let you know when I am online. Remember JeffreyDaugherty.com for all of our great sponsors. And remember this, you are divine, you are sovereign, you are free. You don't have original sin. You've got the spark of divinity within. And we are the last generation of real humans. We are here to remind the world that things aren't bad and getting worse. They're good and getting better. And you know what? Why don't we just show it? Let's just live life being good and getting better. And then they won't be able to deny it. And maybe they'll decide that they want to try it. And we'll say, no, we won't. We'll say, come on in, cousins. Here's how you do it. Because the first law of Cousins Club is tell everybody about it. Don't be blue, Jesus. Just because everyone knows that you're not real. I hope that we didn't hurt your feels, but you don't have them. So everybody wave bye-bye to blue Jesus. And have a Merry Christmas. Christians, that's my Christmas present to you. And cousins, it's my Happy New Year gift to all of you. Until next time, Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, saluting you for being here, seeking after truth. Let's go and unindoctrinate ourselves.